Hi guys, and welcome to the webinar on my morning routines, specifically my morning routines with essential oils. Let's take just a second and get you all in your proper places. What we're going to talk about today is a little bit about the power of morning routines, how you can use different triggers to create habits and spark the habit loop, and why a morning routine matters, and then the specifics about how I use essential oils, how essential oils are used, and I will answer any of your questions about any of it. I am just opening up my slides real quick and checking in. I'm also streaming this on Facebook, so if you're watching on Facebook, you're not going to be able to see the slides, but you can chat there. There's also a chat room in this page. So let me make sure that the page is working right, and you can say hi in the chat room if you're watching it on my website. And then actually let me click through to YouTube. Just 1 second to get all of the various things working. Okay. And of course, everything on my computer slows down. So let's just close everything. Oh, hold on a minute. That's the problem. Okay, a bunch of people just got a reminder that we're starting. So let's see here. Awesome. The page still isn't loading, so I don't know if you all can see me. Say hi in the chat if you can. Whew. I just realized it's kind of warm in here. I had to turn off the fan so that it doesn't, drown out the sound. And hi, say hi in the chat. I'm going to tell the chat to hit play. Because I can see while we're there. I mean, I can see that there's a number. And all right, so let's go. Hi, Dawn. Hi, everybody. It is good to see you guys. Okay, let's get going. Let's close all the windows that don't need to be open. All right, so welcome to my morning routine with essential oils. I am Tara Spiker. If you don't know me because a friend shared this with you, welcome. I help makers and artists and passionate people build businesses around their passion that's both sustainable and fun for them and profitable. So I do that through doing workshops all over the country. I've authored 2 books. I was about to say 3 because the third one is with editors. I've authored 2 books. I do a weekly podcast. And one of the questions I get regularly is like, how do you get so much stuff done? How do you put out so much content? I have 2 Instagrams, several Facebook accounts, Facebook groups, and then just my weekly podcast and commenting on all the comments. And I absolutely love my job. And that is number one, is I love what I do, and it's easy to get stuff done if you love what you're doing and you love who you're working with. But I think the second key is that I set my day up to be productive. And that is what my morning routine is about, is setting my day up to be productive. And so I did a whole podcast episode about my morning routine and about morning routines that will help you be happier, which will help you be productive. I talked about the habits of happiness. That's podcast episode 166. So if you're brand new to me, you can go to taraspiker.com/podcast 166 and watch it there. There's a YouTube video, there's audio file, there's a transcript you can sign up to get. And there, if you can also listen to it on iTunes, or you can watch it on YouTube. My podcast is in all the places. You just search Explore Your Enthusiasm, and you look for the episode called How to Make Every Day Great. So in that, I talk more about my morning routines and why I do what I do. But what I wanted to do here is go even more in depth with the specific reasons why I do certain things, and talk specifically about essential oils, the oils I use, because you guys always ask me, what are the specifics? And then I'll also talk about how you can get the oils if you would like to get started using oils to help build your habits, which is something we're going to talk about. So I am going to do all questions at the end. You can keep asking them as we go. If anything doesn't make sense, post it in the chat room. Ask if you're watching on YouTube. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Kimberly. I'm glad to have you guys here. So you can use absolutely any company's oil that you want to use and make use out of what we're going to talk about today, but I will be sharing why I specifically picked the company that I picked. Sorry, my computer just did something weird. But you can use any company and still apply what we talk about. But before we get started, I want you to ask yourself, what is your morning routine now? And is it serving you? And I want to make a note I meant to say in my podcast, but kind of forgot to say because it's kind of obvious. And that's that I don't have kids. So my morning routine is going to look way different from you if you have kids. And if your kids are 20 or they're 10 or they're 2, your morning is going to look way different depending on the age of your kids, depending on who you need to take care of, and depending on if you have a day job or you work for yourself or something in between. So I wanted to just acknowledge that everybody's morning is different. I am certainly not putting mine forward as the one you should have. It's more that this is the one I have, and I can talk about the reasons it works for me, and that can help you decide which one would work for you, what you want to do for you to have your best day. That's really my goal here, is to share the tools I use, the really specifics of the tools I use, so then you can pick and choose and make a day that's great for you. So I want you to write down what your morning, oh, by the way, you should get a notebook. And then write down or share in the chat room what your morning routine is right now. And is it productive? Is it helping you? And a good morning routine is just something that helps you get started in the day on a way where you are focused and productive and feel good going forward, and you don't feel scattered and frustrated and rah about everything in your life. So then also write down, how do you feel about your morning routine? What are 1 or 2 things you'd like to do each morning that you don't do? So a lot of the habits we want to start, like journaling or meditating or exercising, are really best placed at the beginning of the day, because that's when we have the most activation energy to actually start something. And it's before everything else in the day gets a hold of you, right? All of your responsibilities, all the things you have to do for other people, all the things you have to do for your job. And then by the evening, you've already done all the things you have to do. And studies show that our willpower is actually lower in the evenings. We have less, because we've used up our willpower throughout the day. Maybe you used your willpower up in trying not to eat a cookie or trying not to have a 5th cup of coffee. So by the time you get to the afternoon, you actually have less willpower to do the things you wanted to do or to start new habits. This is why the number 1 habit tip is to try to do it in the morning. If at all possible, build it into your morning routine, and you're going to have better success actually doing it. So write down what is the habit or the thing you want to add to your morning routine, or you wish you did every day that you don't currently do. I'm just checking the chat. Awesome. So write down the morning routine, what you'd like to add. And then as I'm talking, I'm going to mention oils. I'm going to mention habit tips. I'm going to mention all kinds of things. Make notes of the things you want to remember and the oils you want to check out. So at the very end, I will show you how to save the most on getting oils. And I will also share a special bonus that I have just for people who watch this webinar. So stick around to the end if you want to find out how to get the oils and how to get the special bonus. But as we're going, make notes about what oils you want to check out. That way I can show you how to save the most on them. So first of all, I'm going to say I am not a doctor, and nothing when I talk about a natural solution replaces working with your doctor. Nothing replaces working with, I'm a big believer in both Eastern and Western medicine, both plant medicine and natural living solutions, and getting the help you need. Also, essential oils are just one tool amongst many. In that podcast episode, I talk about meditation, journaling, having my cup of coffee, going for a run, and physical exercise. All of those things are really important parts of a healthy morning. It's not exclusive to just use essential oils and all your problems will go away. However, I found that in using them, I have an easier time creating new habits, and they're helping me deal with mood issues, right? Waking up feeling depressed, like you don't want to get out of bed, or feeling so anxious and worried about something that I don't do anything else. Also, they've helped me break the habit of checking my phone first thing in the morning, so that instead of checking my phone and getting everybody else's desires piled on me, I'm starting the day with my own. So that's what we're going to talk about. If you wanted to learn more about all those tools that I say I use in my morning routine, like I said, episode 166 of the podcast goes into details about my whole morning routine. Amy says, my life is a wreck because I have no set goals. You are so right. Yes. So if you've been listening or hanging out with me for a while, then you know I actually talk a lot about goal setting. I have a book, Map Your Business, that will walk you through figuring out where you want to go in your life and then setting your goals. And then the thing that comes next. So I feel like I've talked a lot about the big picture stuff. There are a lot of podcast episodes about that. But then what comes next is actually doing. Like once you know what you need to do, how do you actually do it day in and day out, day in and day out? How do you stay on it even when you are not feeling like it? And part of that is having a good morning routine. Now, if you have read any biographies or any books, there's actually a book about morning routines. Spacing on the name, I meant to write it down. But or if you listen to any podcasts where they interview successful people, you'll realize that most people have a set morning routine that helps them do the most important things for the day first. So on Tim Ferriss's podcast, everybody he talks to, he asks them what they do in the first 60 to 90 minutes of their day. They almost always have an answer that is like, oh, I do these specific things because I know I need to do them because it sets the day up for productivity. And in Tim Ferriss's book, Tools of Titans, he shares the most common things that show up in morning routines. And they are physical exercise, a gratitude or quiet practice, often journaling and or reading, and drinking some water. So those things show up in everybody's. So you might be wondering, how do I get those things? How do I get on that if I haven't been doing it yet? Like maybe you want to start an exercise routine, or maybe you want to start a meditation practice, or maybe you want to start making sure you have quiet Bible study time in the morning. The answer is a habit. Habits are the things we do automatically without trying to do them. Basically, you can program yourself to do a thing when, well, here's the thing. Your body's already programmed to do a thing when hit with a stimulus. So if you always think about what you always do, your morning routine right now, you always brush your teeth, hopefully. Something usually predicates you starting to brush your teeth. You probably take a shower or brush your hair. Something predicates you doing that. That predicator, that stimulus, that trigger is a thing that will help you build new habits if you build in on purpose a stimulus that starts the habit. And you tie the two together, soon just the stimulus will automatically make you do the habit. And these are how bad habits are formed, right? Like my brother was telling me when he was trying to stop smoking, he would just find himself, he would stop to get gas, and then all of a sudden he would be buying a pack of cigarettes. And he would look down and be like, how did I just do this? And the answer is the stimulus for him was going to the gas station and getting gas. The minute he entered the gas station to pay, he bought cigarettes. And he would do that without even mentally thinking about it. Well, that's like a bummer habit loop. But what we can do is build positive habit loops so that when you get a certain trigger, you take an action you want to take. So there is a lot of research about this. And Charles Duhigg wrote a great book called The Power of Habit. And that's where I'm getting a lot of the studies around this. I'm pretty sure I have a podcast episode. I'll need to link it up below. But there is how habits work is there's a habit loop. You have a trigger that starts, and this is good or bad habits. And you can think about any of your own good or bad habits, what starts it. There's a trigger, something that happens, and then you take the action, the habit, and then there's a reward. And every time the habit occurs, those three things are in play. So when you want to start a new habit, what you need to do is decide on a trigger and then a reward. And then every time the trigger happens, you take the action and you get a reward. Now, some things have built-in rewards on their own. So if you want to be more loving to your family, and every time your kid or spouse walks through the door, you say, "Hi, I love you," and you go and give them a hug, the good feeling you have will be its own reward. The trigger is them walking in the door. The habit is you hugging them and say, "Hi, I love you. How was your day?" The reward is going to be those positive feelings. Now, if every time you do that, a person says, "Screw you, I hate you," that would be a negative reward. And so you would stop doing that habit without even consciously thinking about it. So if you think about your morning routines and the things you want to get into in your mornings to have a better morning, they might be journaling, meditating, exercising, all of those things. First, you want to set up a trigger for it. And then you want to do the habit every time you experience that trigger. And then you can do a reward. Now, the reward might be built in, like when you make a gratitude list, you will feel grateful and happy and your mood will be lifted. That can be the reward. My dog just knocked over the diffuser. Okay, so it's like the second time that's happened this week. He has a really big butt and he likes to shove it against things. So let me check the chat room to see if you all are, tell me if you all are with me on this habit thing. Yes. Okay. So Dawn says, make shake and coffee and relax and wake up. It's better than what I've done before. So that's her desired morning routine. I want to start doing my gratitude journal in the morning and morning devotional. Then Kimberly shares what her morning routine is. It takes me too long to wake up and get moving enough to get work done. Not a morning person. I want to add meditation and exercise before working. Awesome. Amy says she's so with us. Awesome. So, and Amy, I see your question about sugar metabolism. We will definitely talk about that for sure. So habits are formed with that habit loop. Trigger, habit, reward. So what you can do is you can build in triggers. So years ago when I needed to work, by the way, the whole room smells great because the dog knocked over the diffuser. So the smell is just wafting all around. Years ago when I needed to write my book, Market Yourself, my first book, I made the habit of writing 1,000 to 2,000 words a day with my first cup of coffee. So I totally changed up my morning routine. Instead of making coffee at home, I would go to a Starbucks, get my coffee, sit down at my very specific table. Heaven forbid somebody else was at that table, and write my 1,000 words with my second cup of coffee. Because I would get my first cup of coffee and I would read or journal. And then with my second cup of coffee, when I went to get the refill, that is when it was like, okay, writing time. So that is a trigger. And then the reward was I felt great because I had written. And what I would often do is tweet out, or now I would like Instagram out my word count. And then I would get positive feedback from my friends. So that is a trigger, habit, reward. You can build this with anything. So let's take, for example, adding exercise to your morning. To start with, you want to add in the smallest. So Amy says she's in a loop and my words are really resonating with her and really need to change the habit trigger. I'm so glad to hear it, Amy. I hope this helps. Yay, that makes me happy. So for what we're going to talk about today and what I've been doing with my mornings is I've been making an essential oil and a smell a trigger for then a habit I want to form, and then the reward is often the thing itself. So for example, Kimberly, you mentioned wanting to exercise in the morning. For starters, I would start with a small dose of exercise that's very doable, that doesn't make you feel miserable. The better you can feel, the better the reward will be. So if your weather is like mine and it's 90 degrees, I'd actually do it as early as possible so it's not too hot. And then here's an example of my habit trigger. So I put a specific essential oil blend in my water. I drink it, back up. When I get out of bed, I immediately put on my workout clothes, my running clothes. Then I put essential oil in my water, drink it, and that taste tells me it's time to go running. So it's both a aromatic and like a taste trigger that then I go running. And what I found is if I drink it on days I'm not running, or on times like I just put it in my water to make my water more delicious, I will be more likely to get up and go take my dogs for a longer walk. So often when I'm working and I know I need to drink water, I'll put the blend in my water, sit there, and then be like, you know what, I'll go walk my dogs for a minute. So I kind of think of it now as like my get up and move trigger. And the reward is in having done it and feeling good. If it's too hot, the reward is kind of miserable. It's not that rewarding. So the same thing for journaling. So the journaling could be, I put on frankincense before I meditate, and that smell gets me in a state of being like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I do my gratitude journal and my quiet time. But before we go more, okay, Amy asked, what's your oil of choice for energy? That's such a good question. Both peppermint and orange are really great for energy, depending on the kind of energy you need. So the hot weather, actually, I'm going to do it now because it's so hot. a drop of peppermint on the back of your neck will cool you down, gives you more energy. I also really love Motivate. I'll talk about all of these in a minute too. So before we go any more with essential oils, I need to explain what an essential oil is. So an essential oil is an aromatic compound that's on some plants. On some plants, it's in the flowers, the leaves, the stems, the roots. In frankincense, it's a sap from the middle of the tree. And how you get it is gently pulled off of the plant through the distillation process, or if it's a citrus, it's squeezed from the skin of the fruit, and then it is bottled. In pure oils, it's just straight up the oil. Just straight up, those aromatic compounds are distilled and put in the bottle. And the thing that's amazing is humans have been using them for thousands of years. Since ancient Egypt, we've been using essential oils to help meet our needs, to improve our mood, to heal our wounds, to help our skin heal faster, to give us energy, to relax us and put us to sleep. For example, lavender oil, the first guy who started studying what he called aromatherapy, which was a therapy through aromatic compounds. A lot of people hear aromatherapy. I certainly did, and I thought it was just sniffing things. It's through any use of aromatic compounds, whether aromatically, like you breathe them in, or topically, or internally. The first guy who started doing that research in France, I think it was back in the 17 or 1800s, what happened is he had a bad burn. He was in the lab, he was a scientist, he had a bad burn. He had a vat of lavender oil there, and he put his hand in it, and his burn healed faster. But even before that, they were using essential oils for embalming, for improving mood, for helping with sleep. Lavender had long been known to help you go to sleep. Orange to help you calm down and feel like good and energized, but calm and not anxious. So that's all an essential oil is. It's a aromatic compound that we use for a whole host of things as a natural solution for life's ailments. So hold on, I just gotta check the chat room. So Amy's in Australia, so she is completely freezing. Okay, so you are not needing to cool down to get energy, but you do in the other time of the year. I'm gonna put the lemon on the back of my neck, and then I'm gonna explain. There are 3 ways. No, I said lemon, it's peppermint. There are 3 ways to take essential oils and get the benefit from essential oils. The first way is aromatically. You smell it. You can open a bottle and just smell it. You can also use a diffuser. I was going to show you mine, but my dog just knocked it off. It was going at the beginning of this video. And I want to make a note about this diffuser. You want to write this down. If you haven't yet started using essential oils in a diffuser, make sure you use a sonic diffuser. So it has a little thing in the bottom that like shakes and vibrates, and it uses that sonic to make the water mist. And what you do is you fill it up with water to its line, you add a couple drops of essential oils, and it will make the mist all fill up your house and your home with the scent. And it's a way to get it like over time, as opposed to just all at once, one big sniff in. And it also lets you dose your whole family, which is really great. You can also use it aromatically by doing a drop on your hands like I just did, rubbing them together and smelling. I just put peppermint on my hands, so it's a big boost of energy and feels amazing. And so that's aromatically. It's not smell from the bottle, smell from your hands, smell with a diffuser all through your life. Make sure that you get a sonic diffuser if you're looking at diffusers. And some of the packages I'm going to tell you about with these oils come with a diffuser in them. Oh, one other way you can use it aromatically, and this is what I love to do with the oil Breathe. This is one of my morning routines that I'll talk about in a minute, is I put a few drops in the bottom of the shower before I turn on the hot water for the shower, and it creates a steam bath, and it Breathe specifically opens up your sinuses and makes you breathe easier. So that is a quick and effective way. This is also, that shower steam is the way that my husband most likes to be dosed. He's reticent to putting them on. I don't know why. I think he thinks it'll make him smell. So but he loves an essential oil shower in the morning. So that's part of his morning routine. Now, how these actually work when you smell them is your olfactory bulb is right next to your limbic system, and your limbic system in your brain is the seat of emotion. It's a whole bunch of interconnected structures that deal with emotion, motivation, regulation of memories, regulation of hormones, sexual arousal, circadian rhythms, like when you fall asleep and when you wake up. So all of those are impacted immediately. Your sense of smell, your olfactory system, is the fastest way to reach your limbic system. So when your limbic system is freaking out, like with panic, or you're worried, or you're staying up too late, or your circadian rhythm's thrown off, or you're having problems with hormones, the fastest route to that is through your olfactory sense. And we actually have, there's just a article in the New York Times that showed that was about a study that shows we actually have olfactory receptors all over our body. And so that's how essential oils are working when we apply them topically, which we'll talk about in a minute. And this study showed that sandalwood actually helped your skin heal faster because those olfactory receptors absorbed it. And what it does is it sets off a whole chemical reaction that is beneficial, that will improve your mood, or will help your skin heal, or will help your liver detoxify, or will help regulate your internal organs. So super cool. That's how they're working with your body. Now you can also use them. The first wave is aromatically. You can also use them topically. So when you apply something to your skin, 60-something% of what is applied to your skin is absorbed into your bloodstream within the first minute. So this is why using a bunch of harsh chemicals in your household cleaner, or in your body cleaner, or in your shampoo can cause hormone disruption, because it's absorbed into your bloodstream and it starts circulating all through your body, and then your kidneys or your liver need to detoxify it. So by using these natural plant extracts, instead you are taking off some toxic load from your body, and you're also putting in some good things that interact with your bloodstream in some good ways. So to use an essential oil topically, you just apply it where you need it most. So as an example, do I have Digesticen here? Oh, there it is. Good. I thought it might be in the bathroom where my husband last needed it to rub on his belly. So Digesticen is a blend that helps you with your digestion, whether you are whatever kind of help your digestion needs. Zen will help you out with it. You can rub it directly on your belly. I use it a lot in flights when I'm feeling motion sickness. I'll either sniff it, because that's the least obvious way, or else I'll go to the airplane bathroom and rub it on my belly, just to like help calm down that motion sickness. What it's got in it are all the things that my grandma gives me for my sore tummy anyhow: peppermint, ginger, anise, fennel, caraway, tarragon. That makes it very spicy smelling, but very soothing on your belly, whether it's motion sickness, or whether it's IBS, or whether it's stress. So you can just rub it right where you need it on your belly. Also, I'll talk a little bit about my morning routine, where I rub my oils in the morning, but many of my clients use it on their feet, because your feet has some of the biggest pores of your body, so it will enter your bloodstream quickly and immediately when you apply it to the soles of your feet. Also, a bonus is if you don't love the smell of an oil, but you want the benefit from the oil, you can rub it on your feet, and you're not having it up near your nose, and you're not smelling it as strongly. It's also really good for babies, because it keeps them from putting it in their mouth, on their feet. And the big pores make it enter your bloodstream fast. I'll talk about that in a minute, Amy. That's a good question. So I like to put my favorite oils on my pulse point and wear them throughout the day. I also have a diffuser bracelet, which diffuses it aromatically, but it's also, against my skin, so it's going in topically. The third way that you can take these oils is internally. So before we go forward with this, I need to say you want to make sure you're only using oils that are labeled as food grade. So like vitamins, oils are not regulated by the FDA, and so they can vary vastly in terms of quality. However, the reason why I use the brand of oils I use is because they're extensively tested, and they're very transparent about the testing process and the results of the testing. So if you are using doTERRA oils, you can go to the website sourcetoyou.com, and each oil, let me see that you guys are watching here, each oil has a number on the bottom of it, that is its lot number, and you can put in the lot number and you can see where the oils were sourced and what tests were run on them and how they did in those tests. That kind of transparency, they're the only company in the whole industry that does that, which makes me feel a lot better about recommending that you take them internally. Now, essential oils have been used internally for centuries. People have been taking them internally, but you need to do what you feel most comfortable with. I will say that the reason why that testing is so important is if you have a child with allergies, or you have allergies, like I have a friend with her kid has really bad gluten allergies, like anaphylactic shock level reaction when he comes in contact with anything that has gluten in it, and that includes his lotion. Well, the tests that doTERRA do make sure that they're purely what they say they are, and there's no fillers and there's no cross-contamination. Because if you're growing lavender next to a wheat field, it's perfectly natural that there would be cross-contamination there, but that cross-contamination can actually send her son into anaphylactic shock. So knowing that that's tested for gives her a lot of peace of mind, and she actually uses it on her son with all the bad allergies, and it's helped his, I never know how to say the word, eczema. It's helped his eczema on his skin, the lavender oil has, but it would have set off an allergic reaction if there's any cross-contamination. So it's important when you're choosing your oils, whether you're applying them topically or taking them internally, to use the oils that are free of contaminants and free of fillers. Because we were talking about your receptors, like pulling it into your bloodstream. Well, if your oil has anything other than the oil you intend to have, that's going to enter your bloodstream. So if it's full of a filler, like a lower quality oil, a lot of times people will cut the oils with coconut oil or with grapeseed oil, which we'll talk about doing safely here in a minute. But if you don't know that's what's in your oil and you have an allergy to coconuts, it could set off an allergic reaction. So you can make them internally in a couple ways. I like to put lemon or grapefruit or orange in my water, or that morning blend I told you about. I was actually going to show you how you do that. I'm a glass of water here to drink as we talk. You just put a drop or two. You can also take them internally through doTERRA's line of supplements, which I really love, and I hadn't even planned to talk about, but it's part of my morning routine just in the past 2 weeks. Hold on, I'm looking for my blend to add to my water to show you. It's part of my morning routine for the past 2 or 3 weeks. I've been taking their supplements every morning. They're whole food and essential oil supplements, and it's freaking amazing. My skin is better. My energy is better. I have been now doing webinars and one-on-ones, like 3 to 4 hours of interacting with people a day. And previously, I was only ever able to do 1 or 2. Now, I would work in the other hours, but I would only be able to have like scheduled webinars, workshops, coffee dates, one-on-ones with clients for an hour or 2 a day. And I've seen that in the past couple weeks expand to 4 or 5 hours a day, to the point where I'll look at my schedule and I'll be like, oh man, I'll be exhausted at the end of this day. And I haven't been. So that's, doTERRA calls them their lifelong vitality packs. And that's how I've been taking them internally, plus adding to my water. So this is a blend I take each morning before I go on a run. They call it Slim and Sassy. I don't love that name, but I just add 1 drop to my water and it makes it taste delicious. It's a mix of orange and peppermint, and it is food grade. And let's see, it's grapefruit. I always say orange, but it's grapefruit, lemon, peppermint, ginger root, cinnamon bark. See, it's all things that you would eat anyhow. It's not. So that helped me. Thank you. Now I want to talk about one other thing before we go on to my routine, what oils I use. One other thing when it comes to using these topically is dilution. So we got to back up a little bit. 1 single drop of oil is a dose. So when we talk about setting up habits, taking it aromatically, putting it in your water, 1 single drop is a dose. And these 15 milliliter bottles have around 250 drops in them. Some have more, some have less, depending on how thick the oil is. And the little tiny 5 milliliter bottles have around 80. And the reason I bring that up is because 1 drop is a dose. So you only need 1 drop to get a really effective result. However, 1 drop, depending on how liquidy the oil is, might not spread that far. So what you can do to make it spread farther and cover a bigger portion of your body, or to slow down its release so it lasts longer and the effect is longer lasting, is you can dilute it. And if you're dealing with anyone under the age of 15 to 20. You want to dilute the oils before you apply them so that they're not getting such a big dose right away. That will time release it and let it spread over more of their body so it's not just in one area. Now, so you know, there are very, very few. The company I work with, doTERRA, tracks all incidents of reports of any side effects, and the incidents of side effects are minuscule. I think it's 0.003% of people have any side effects, and the most common side effect, just over 90% of the ones that are reported, are just skin irritation. So when we talk about safe dilution, it's not because you're going to explode. It's to avoid skin irritation. So anybody I've ever talked to that's had a bad moment with essential oils, it was always just irritation. Or like that peppermint, cinnamon, clove are all warm oils. When you apply them directly to your skin, or when they come in contact with any of your mucous membranes, they're hot. You can feel it. So like if I put the peppermint over my mouth and eyes and breathed it in for a couple minutes, it would make my eyes water. That's what I mean by a reaction. It's not hurting me. It's just like, ooh, that's stinging. Amy says she's on 6 days straight. I think you mean of the Lifelong Vitality Pack, the supplements. And she says she's on fire. Love it. Okay, so safe dilution. Let's do, hold on, looking for the right one that I need. Okay, so let's do, hold on. They're all here. They're just like trying to get away from me. So On Guard is the blend that will boost your immunity and help you protect. It's antibacterial and antifungal. It'll help protect against germs. So a lot of people apply it to the bottom of their kids' feet before their kids go off to school. And a lot of teachers actually diffuse it in their classrooms because, you know, kids are just like little bug magnets. No offense to your kids. So what I'm going to do to safely dilute it, let me check the video, make sure you can see me okay. I'm going to put 1 drop in my hand. Here, I'll put it over here. Ooh, that was 1 drop. And then coconut oil. 1 to 2 teaspoons is fine for an adult. You rub it together and then you rub it wherever you need it. I'm going to put it on my feet. I was at the coffee shop today and I don't eat their germs. You can also do dilution in rollerballs. So here are the tiny rollerballs I have, which are really cute. So you can do a drop of essential oil in here and fill it up with a carrier oil, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And then it has a little roller lid to it like this. So it's ready to roll on at any point. And in that way, you can have them diluted and ready to go all the time. Just throw them in your purse, have them with you. Also, when they're pre-diluted like that, like you have the rollerball diluted and ready to go, your kids can then use them on themselves. So my friend with a kid with allergies, he loves how lavender works for his eczema. So he has been rubbing it on himself. And anytime he gets a bug bite or a little scratch, he gets his little lavender and he rubs it on and they're ready to go. So I love that. That's something you can do when you get the oils. It'll make them go longer, right? Because you're only going to put 1 to 10 drops of oils in the roller ball. So it's going to make your oils last even longer. Plus, it's going to let you cover a bigger surface area. So you can use really any pure oil as a carrier oil. That's the oil that carries along your essential oil. I like the fractionated coconut oil because it is very, it's not greasy at all. Like it's already rubbed in. It doesn't leave any grease spots on my clothes when it comes in contact with them. It absorbs really quickly, and coconut oil is excellent for your skin. It helps heal faster. It's got a bunch of healing qualities, and coconut oil is just great. The fractionated just means that it stays liquid. So this never hardens like you're cooking coconut oil, but I have totally used regular, like the jar of coconut oil with essential oils, especially if you're making something like a bath butter, or my friend made a diaper rash cream. So she used hardened coconut oil mixed in, she warmed it up, mixed the essential oils in it, and then let it harden. And then she rubs it on her baby's bum. Healed diaper rash right up, just coconut oil and lavender. So that is a little bit about safe dilution. I want to make sure we cover that so you know your oils will go further if you dilute them in coconut oil. Or if you're allergic to coconut oil, Jolie uses grapeseed oil. You can also use olive oil. It's a little thicker. It takes longer to absorb. I don't like it as much. For my face, I use pumpkin seed oil. because it has a better pH balance for your face, and I've totally noticed the difference. But so that's how to use oils and what oils are. Let's talk about setting you up for your habits. So really, you can use any oil to trigger any habit. You could use any smell to be the trigger for creating any new habit. It makes sense to use the ones that help create the mood that you want to have to go into the thing. So let me show you an example. For starters, the first thing I do when I get out of bed is I use Breathe. This is a Breathe oil. It's got eucalyptus and laurel and peppermint, lemon, cardamom. So it opens your sinuses, opens your lungs so you can breathe better. It also is antibacterial, so it kills off any allergens. I put it on before I go running, but recently I've been putting it on each morning because the pollen count here is just off the charts. So it protects me from all the pollen flying at me throughout my day. You can apply it both topically. You can also diffuse it. I have a friend who, before she puts her kids to bed, she diffuses lavender and Breathe together. The lavender helps them relax. The Breathe opens up their lungs so they're breathing deeper, so they fall asleep faster. I just do a drop and then under my nose, and I smell amazing. I also love a Rollerball. Let's see if I have it here. Oh, of Breathe. Well, geez, it's here somewhere. And I rub it on my chest often before I go to bed, kind of like my husband, when he was a kid, this might be a Southern mom thing, his mom would rub Vapor-Rub on his chest each night, his bad allergies. So I rub the Breathe Rollerball on my chest each night. And it opens up my lungs, helps me breathe better, helps me sleep better. And in the day, it helps me breathe better before I go for a run. So I'm getting deeper breaths, I'm feeling better. All that extra oxygen is like giving me all of that. Remember, we talked about in that habit loop, you need the reward at the end of it. The reward can just be, you've just like dosed your body in oxygen and you feel so good. The next thing I end up using a lot recently in the morning is Digestizen. A drop, a little bit of coconut oil and rubbed on my belly to help with waking up with a sick stomach, not feeling good, feeling slightly nauseous. Often when I'm traveling and I've eaten someone else's weird food or I've eaten airport food, Digestizen is the savior. Just like anything that upsets your stomach, I found Digestizen calms it right down. Next up in the morning is I do that Slim & Sassy blend I showed you, which is grapefruit and peppermint. A couple drops of this in my water. It wakes me right up. It's also really good for grapefruit is great at sparking your motivation, and the grapefruit and peppermint together will make you feel so freaking awake. Part of the reason why it makes you feel woken up and motivated is that it stimulates your metabolism. And this isn't just for losing weight. You literally, as my friend Brittany, who's watching, pointed out, she's a nurse, your metabolism literally keeps you alive. Like your metabolism is the thing in your cells that are keeping your cells like healthy and alive. So you need your metabolism, and when it's sparked and it wakes up, you wake up and you feel better. It's also the Slim & Sassy. They call it the oil of self-love. It promotes feelings of self-love and self-acceptance. So this is one of my favorites for sparking a healthy habit, because if you know it increases feelings of self-love and it increases your metabolism and it wakes you up, it's really great to take right before you want to start an exercise habit. So what I'd recommend, put a drop of this in your water, drink the water, make sure you have on comfortable clothes, and then go outside or go to the gym. And whatever you do, even if it's just slow walking to start the habit, slow walk for 15 minutes. Turn around, come back. Every time you drink the water with the Slim & Sassy blend in it, go for a walk. And if you're in Europe or Australia, the oil is called Smart & Sassy. Kind of hope they change the name here. Because it makes it sound like it's just a weight loss tool, which it's not. Let me take a drink of water. So any questions about what we've covered so far? I'm going to check. Okay, so Dream Looped says, takes me ages to wake up, but once I'm awake, I make sure to exercise before work. It clears the head wonderfully, helps me focus. Yes. Otherwise, I just walk around in a haze. Dawn asked, what oils do you do before working out? I do Slim & Sassy in my water. I do Breathe on my nose and Slim & Sassy in my water. So Dream Loop says lavender for sleep works crazy well for me. I got to remember to use the Wake Up Focus Sense. I'd get a lot more done if I felt awake more often. Yes. Dawn says smelling peppermint yesterday helped my headache. Dawn also asked, can you take On Guard internally? Yes, you absolutely can. It's all food grade. It's labeled for internal use, and it's wild orange peel, clove bud, cinnamon leaf and cinnamon bark, eucalyptus, and rosemary. So yes, you can take it internally. A lot of people do. My friend Leonie, after she went through awful sickness during her pregnancies, her immune system was horrible and she was getting sick at everything. And this is what she got started with, the On Guard blend, taking it internally. They have On Guard toothpaste. They have On Guard hand wash. It just stimulates your immune system and it kills infection, viruses, bacteria. Kind of amazing. I am obsessed with it when I travel. I don't love the taste of it, but I'll put a drop under my tongue every time I get on a flight. And then I put a couple drops in my hands and rub it all together after I wash my hands in the airport. Totally haven't gotten sick my last few flights. Oh, Rochelle asked such a good question. She says, I have asthma, so I'm concerned about using a diffuser. Does anybody have experience with that? Yes, this was actually Jolie's concern because her son has asthma. And so I introduced her to a couple other people who have asthma who have no problem at all using the diffuser, because the diffuser releases a very fine mist, and it's just going to be water and whatever essential oil you put in it. If you use an essential oil that has contaminants or that is diluted in some other oil, it might mess with your lungs, but they have all recommended. And like what happened is I introduced her to them via Facebook, like group Facebook message. So I ended up seeing all of their replies and conversation, and every person said this, which is Breathe. It's eucalyptus and laurel and peppermint and tea tree oil and lemon. They found it incredibly helpful. So the lemon and the tea tree oil kill the bacteria in the air, and the eucalyptus is known to open up your airways. I can't think of the word for that. Amy says it is the bomb. It really works. I've definitely found that to be true as well. And I've diffused it when people with asthma come over and they've had no problem. But also, Rochelle, if you want to know more, I can like Facebook introduce you to some people who use it. But Jolie is one, and I know you know her from the Starship. She just realized my video is weirdly. Okay. She uses it and loves it and has had no problem. And by the way, her son with that is has so many allergies, he has anaphylactic shock. She was terrified. She was so worried that if she diffused something, it could set off his allergies. So she started with lemon and grapefruit, and he had no reaction. Then she's expanded into Breathe and tea tree oil and using cedarwood and lavender on him. No bad reaction whatsoever. Now, you want to avoid things you know you're allergic to. So if you're allergic to coconut oil, obviously that could set you off. So the next thing I use for my habits is peppermint, which I feel like I've already talked about a lot. I'm just really feeling the love for peppermint in this heat. It is known to be both uplifting on your mood and cheering and cooling. Like the peppermint I put on the back of my neck is actually cooler now. You know how when you use icy hot and it gets warm and then it gets cold? That's what peppermint does naturally. It also promotes healthy respiratory function and clear breathing. That's why it's in the Breathe blend. And it promotes digestive health. You can take it internally. I take it in the mornings. When I get back from my run, I will usually make a vegan protein shake with my protein powder, soy milk, and flaxseed, and a drop of peppermint makes it like, woo, it wakes you right up. Also, it's a natural bug repellent. So we've been using it because we got a lot of peaches and blueberries as fruit fly repellent. I put a couple drops in a little cup with some apple cider vinegar. The fruit flies are like, oh my God, what's that? And they leave my fruit alone. So a lot of people use peppermint to spark healthy habits as well. So if you want something that will spark your metabolism, I'd go with the Slim and Sassy. And if you want something that wakes you up and makes you feel good, go with the peppermint or the Breathe. Then the next part of my morning routine is the opposite of physical activity and being awake, and it is quiet time. So we call it quiet time because that's just how we were raised. But really like meditation and journaling and gratitude time. My favorite oil for this is frankincense, which actually I took him with me today out. So this is my bag I carry with me. And frankincense is in there. So frankincense comes from the sap of the boswellia trees. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. And because it's a tree oil, it's calming and grounding. Cedarwood, sandalwood, the firs, they all have the same impact. They're very grounding and calming. You can also use it on your skin. It's really great for helping your skin heal. It's one of the ones I put in my face stuff, which I feel has just had such a great effect. But for my morning routine, and by the way, what my meditation is you can use the app Headspace that teaches you this. And I love that app. It's really great. Simply breathing deep, focusing on my breath, just focusing on my breath. When thoughts come up, which they will, you realize, oh, wait, I'm distracted by thought, and go back to focusing on your breath. Then you get distracted by other thoughts, you go back to focusing on your breath. The meditation practice isn't having no thoughts. A meditation practice is the practice of coming back to your breath when you've been taken off by thought. And the more you practice that, there are now so many studies on this, the more you practice that, noticing when thoughts take you off track, coming back to what you want to focus on, the better your focus gets in the rest of your life. Definitely found this to be true. Also, this is really great for your emotional and mental health. The better you get at recognizing when you are being taken off track with something else. So in meditation, you might be taken off track just by thinking about what you're going to do in the day. But in life, you might get taken off track with anger, or being super offended something somebody said, or being super like crushed. Oh my goodness, I got that comment on my Instagram. People hate me. Recognizing that that's running away with you. That's a skill that you can actually build, and meditation builds it. So for that, I use frankincense when I come back from my run, or on days I don't run, because I don't run every day. By the way, when I say run, I mean like a very slow crawl. That's really what I mean. But so with frankincense, I put, first of all, let's smell it because it smells amazing. I put a drop on the center of my forehead. It's said to increase your intuition, whether it works or not. It really calms me down. And right here on my chest. And I breathe it deep. It smells great. So I'm getting it both topically, soaking in, and aromatically because I'm smelling it. I'd say it opens intuition. It's very grounding and calming. Now, it's funny. Putting this on triggers my, oh wait, I don't want to get caught up in that thought, because I've done it with my meditation. The two things now remind me of each other. So whenever I diffuse frankincense, it helps me focus and calm down and not get distracted by whatever comes up. And sometimes in the middle of my workday, I open it up and I smell it to remind myself, especially when like you fall into the click hole of the internet, you're clicking and clicking and clicking, you can pull yourself out of it by having that trigger to pull yourself out of it. So I also then at this time do journaling, like make a gratitude list of all the things I'm grateful for, spend time feeling grateful. And I want to just clarify, journaling is sometimes getting all the crap out of my head. Oh my gosh, why did she say that? This is horrible. Why is my husband's socks all over the floor? And then other times it's opening up. You might call it your intuition. You might call it the voice of God. You might call it your guidance or the universe or just your own good sense, where it's like, okay, from a grounded, calm, grateful place, what do I do next? Where's the guidance that I should go next? So when I talk about opening up my intuition, that's all I mean is that sense of what is right and what the next step is. For that, I love frankincense. And to be honest, the next thing I usually do in my morning is go and clean up my kitchen a little bit from the night before. So we'll put away the food the night before, but if Jay is cooked, there is splattered stuff on the stove, or if he's made toast that morning, there are toast crummies. So for that, I use lemon. Lemon is super antibacterial. It smells completely delightful. Many of us grew up like cleaning your chopping board with a cut up lemon. What you were doing is using the essential oils, the antibacterial aspect of lemon oil. Lemon also opens up your breathing, is great for asthma. And I take a paper towel, I get it a little damp, I put a drop of lemon on it, and I wipe down my cabinet. So my lemon oil, I actually had to get this off my kitchen cabinet. This is where this lives. I also use it in food, like I put it in my pesto, anything that takes lemon, mixed drinks that take lemon, we made like a thyme lemonade. It's amazing. Put a couple extra drops of this. Hummus was amazing with this. So that's honestly one of the things I do before I start work is I go wipe down the whole kitchen. Then, oh, My phone just died for those watching on Facebook. Oh well, okay. So then I get down to work. That's my morning routine, right? A little exercise, some mornings, a peppermint chocolate shake, a glass of water, then quiet time, journaling, meditation, gratitude. Often I will read for a little bit then, and then I get down to work. And the ones that I love for getting down to work are, hold on. Oh, it's in my bag, in my lap, of course, because I don't ever go anywhere without it. Wild orange will wake you up and help you focus. A friend calls it joy bubbles because it just like improves your mood. And there's a lot of studies on this with soldiers who return with PTSD. It's definitely one of the oils that will help you focus and help you calm down in a focused way. Then my favorite, and I've talked about it before, is Motivate. So it's a combination of orange and peppermint and basil and coriander. And it's also got rosemary, which has been shown to help with focus, and a little bit of vanilla, and it smells amazing. I often just put it on my post points. And when I have a really important day or when I'm doing any public speaking, I put it right here, and then I keep smelling it as I'm going, or put it on the back of my neck, and my hair kind of makes it waft forward. That's Motivate. I absolutely love it. This I heartily recommend as a trigger for your work. So I give myself not open up Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email, and instead I start working on the things I need to work on. So you can also use, so Motivate, you can also use a combination of wild orange and frankincense for that same kind of effect of both grounding and focus. Another favorite of mine for kind of the rest of my work, especially when I'm going out and I'm being social, is passion. Now, passion sounds, I don't know, romantic, but all it really means is it's called an inspiration blend. So it gets me inspired and ready to go. And I find it really helpful in social anxiety settings. Rub it on everywhere. I kind of, this is a rollerball. It comes in both the bottles, which you can diffuse, or like add to your own rollerball, or it comes in this, which is called the Touch. So like there's Lavender Touch, which is lavender diluted in coconut oil, pre-made, ready for you to go. This is Passion Touch. It's it's the passion oil diluted with coconut oil, so it's ready to rub on anywhere you want to rub it on. And I love the smell. Someone else told me she didn't care for the smell, but then she mixed it with some orange and she loved it. But it is cardamom, clove, sandalwood, and jasmine. So it's a combination of both spices, which is spicy and gets you all like, woo, and woods, like frankincense and sandalwood, which is calming and grounding. It's one of my absolute favorites. I'm actually going to talk more. They have a whole Motivate and Passion are both oils in their emotional aromatherapy line, where they have done research on what oils affect what moods, and then you choose based on your mood, and they've made combinations for the most common moods that we all deal with and would like to not be dealing with. I'm going to talk more about that in a webinar next week because I definitely use them for mood management. But this starts my day if I'm going out or I'm being social, say before I get on social media. Motivate is my like buckle down and start working. You could also make a buckle down and start working blend, wild orange plus peppermint, or wild orange plus frankincense, depending on if you want to be really up with wild orange and peppermint or you want to be like focused and grounded. Those are my favorite for starting the habit of work. So I know a lot of the people I work with struggle to get to work when they should. I really recommend putting a certain smell along with your certain kinds of work. So many of you work in the studio, get a smell that is your studio one. Maybe it's frankincense and lavender, which is calming. Maybe it's peppermint and wild orange, which is like uplifting. But combine one or two and find the blend that then you associate with getting to work. Also, if you're looking for more focus, studies show that wild orange, grapefruit, lemon, lemongrass, lime, Jolie loves her grapefruit and lime together. Those citrus oils help you focus in an uplifted way, or if you need to be focused and grounded, the woods. Also rosemary. There's a lot of studies on rosemary. And in fact, in the UK, there were stories this last finals season before graduation that health food stores had run out of rosemary oil because people use it to focus. So frankincense, sandalwood, cedarwood, rosemary, all really, really good for focus. So with that, I want to check to see if there are questions, and then let me know what oils sound good for you. Dawn says she has Motivate going now, and I keep the rollerball you sent me in my bag. Oh, that makes me happy. Yes, yes, excellent. That's another thing, to drink more water throughout the day. I also add grapefruit or lemon or orange to my water to keep me drinking water throughout the day. So when I know I should drink water and I just don't feel like it, I'll go and get a totally plain sparkling water plus grapefruit, and it makes me feel so fancy. It's my fancy lady drink. So now, if there are oils you're wanting to try, there are a couple ways you can get these specific oils at the best, absolute best prices. So I'm going to explain how to do that to you in a minute, but first I want to share my screen. Okay, so, sorry, screen share, screen share, screen share. Okay, you guys can see my screen okay? How do I present? Where's it present? There it is. Okay, so when you order oils from this webinar, maybe it's not going to load. What you'll get is the oils, which are certified pure therapeutic grade, which is really important for what we talked about with the, if you're going to take them internally or apply them topically and you suffer from asthma or any kind of allergies. You're going to get the oils that you order. You're also going to get a 25% discount on all the oils you buy, starting right from the beginning. I'm going to get you set up with a wholesale account. That's the smartest way to buy the oils. You can absolutely buy them retail, but with a wholesale account, you'll save 25%. When you sign up with me through this webinar, you're also going to get a free health consult where I will talk with you. It's usually 15 to 30 minutes. It'll either be me or one of the essential oil specialists I work with, like that I'm friends with. Like I work with a nurse and I work with Jolie, and they will help you personally learn how to use your oils. You develop a plan for your own morning routine. If you sign up from this webinar, you'll work with me and we'll talk specifically about either your morning routine or your evening routine. You will also get access to our amazing, amazing Facebook group where people are talking at all hours of the night and morning while I sleep. They're answering each other's questions about like, what kind of diffuser do you use? What's your favorite blend for this? What do you do for headaches? It's so great and supportive. I love it. You also get, this is brand new, a 50+ page how to use your oils coloring book, which is hand illustrated by my pal Leonie. It's such a beautiful coloring book. I'm like completely in love with it. And it actually teaches you how to use your oils so you get the most out of it. You'll also get an e-course which gives you lots and lots of ideas for using your oils. I wrote it. It's got 6 emails. It walks you through using the oils you just bought. Also, if you join up from this webinar, you're going to get a welcome pack. And actually, let me stop sharing my screen. Exit. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to stop sharing. There we go. Okay, so you're going to get a welcome packet if you sign up just from this webinar, and you get a bag. Yours might look different. I have all different bags here. A bag to put your oils in. I showed you this is what I keep in my purse, and I have another one for my bedside table. So a bag along with a book on using essential oils. It will remind you of everything we talked about today, plus a sheet on oil safety, plus 2 samples of the Deep Blue Rub, which is what my friends with fibromyalgia use for their fibromyalgia pain, plus 2 of those cute pink rollerballs so you can make up your own blend, and either a Breathe rollerball, which I said I put on every night and every morning, or if you order Breathe and you get Breathe in your package, then I'll send you a wild orange, because most of the kits and packages don't come with wild orange, and it's one of my absolute favorites. So depending on what you order, I'll give you either a Breathe or a wild orange. And this comes from me. I send this to you after you get your How to Use Your Guides e-course and the coloring book. So that is what you'll get when you get oils from this webinar. I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But I do want to just say that the reason I'm talking about this specific brand, first of all, you are welcome to use any oils. If you have an oil brand that you know and trust and love, you can absolutely use them to build your own habits, to create your good day, to be productive, to keep you focused, you can absolutely do that. But I specifically use these oils for two big reasons. The first is that purity stuff we talked about, all the testing they do and their transparency. That's really huge to me because this isn't regulated by the FDA. And knowing that they're doing all these tests and then sharing the results publicly for all these tests. And if an oil doesn't meet the test requirements, what they do is first they run tests before they buy the oil, before they buy it, take it out of country. I'll explain in a minute. And if it doesn't meet those tests, they just don't buy it. Then once they get it back to the American headquarters, they run another test both in their own labs and they send it out to outside labs. And if it doesn't pass those standards, then it goes on the open market and other oil companies buy that oil. So that is how the process works. And that is one reason, the purity, because I have friends with kids with allergies. I can't be recommending something that might have gluten in it or might have something that sets off their allergies. And then the other reason is sustainable farming practices. So what studies have shown is that a fruit is healthier and an essential oil has more of the constituent compounds that make it effective when that plant is grown. It's in its indigenous soil. Where a plant is grown, where it grows easily, it is better, and this just makes sense, right? If you ever try to do an orange tree in East Tennessee, you're not going to get great oranges. But when I go see my brother in Southern California, his orange tree, it's amazing. It's so much better. And his lemon trees are just like off the chart. So after seeing those studies, the founders of doTERRA, which are scientists and medical doctors, they decided to source the oils from the place where the plants grow indigenously. And to do that, instead of just buying up a bunch of land and planting it themselves, they chose to work with farmers who are already doing the work in those countries, farmers through fair trade co-ops, and then through their charitable branch of the company, Healing Hands, where they dig wells and they build schools and they provide the things that these communities need, because these plants, a lot of them come from the third world. So frankincense comes from Somalia, and I was going to say tea tree oil comes from Australia, not really the third world. And the oranges come from the Dominican Republic. And so they work in those communities to build the infrastructure that they need to take care of the farmers who are doing the work, and they pay them fairly. And so when there's a problem like the drought that's going on in Somalia, they actually pay the farmers not to harvest the frankincense so that the frankincense trees can live and it can be a sustainable source, as opposed to pillaging them all now and not having them at all in 2 or 3 years because of the drought. So those sustainable farming practices, the sustainable co-ops, the way that they care both about the land so it can keep producing the plants, they care about the health of the plant so that it can make the best oil possible, they care about the health of the farmer, so again, you get the best oil possible. It all turns into the best oil possible, which is both most effective because it's filled with the most amount of the constituent compounds that actually have an effect, and it's what was I going to say? It's the best oil because it's filled with all the good stuff and it was grown sustainably. So it will still be a good high quality oil in 2 or 3 years because of the sustainable farming practices. That all totally throws me. They call that co-impact sourcing, and there's videos you can watch if you want to learn more and you want to meet the farmers. They have a whole website sourced to you where they talk all about the different places that they go and they source these. And I'm just super passionate about that. So that's specifically why I'm talking about these oils, both because I love the practices behind the company and also because I think it turns out a better product. I mean, it's known to turn out a better product when you harvest them from those places. So some of your options, if you were wondering, okay, I've got oils. Yes, definitely. Sign me up. What do I do? So if there are oils you're wanting to try, you have 2 options. The first is to just, well, let's back up. The best way to get these oils is to get them wholesale. And it's kind of like a Costco or a Sam's Club card where you pay a $35 fee and you get wholesale pricing for the whole year. And you don't have to buy anything to maintain that. You don't have to do anything. You're not getting into a contract to do anything. You're just getting a wholesale account for wholesale prices for a whole year, and it's $35. I actually have a video below that shows you how to do that if that's how you want to get the oils. So if you want to just get a couple oils and the wholesale pricing, that's what you do. You buy the $35 wholesale membership and then add the oils to your cart. If If you do that, you're going to get the e-course, the coloring book, the Facebook group, the wellness consult. You'll get all of that. But if you were finding that you want more than 2 or 3 oils, it's going to save you money to get them in a package. So that's going to be a more affordable option. You're actually going to save money if you get them in a pack. So I'm going to show you some of those kit options in just a minute. And so, you know, it's only the kit options that are eligible for the welcome pack from me. So you know, to get the welcome pack from me with the Breathe Rollerball or the Wild Orange, plus the little roller balls for you to make your own, plus the bag and the little book, you choose one of the kit options. So these are, let me share my screen so you can actually see. Let's make this big. So the first kit, and this is a kit that a lot of people go with, this kit comes with all of the oils I talked about today, almost all the oils I talked about today. So it's got 10 oils at the 15 milliliter size, plus it comes with a diffuser. This is a diffuser I have. It was behind me till my dog knocked it off. By the way, it survived so many dogs knocking it on the ground. So many dogs. So lemon, lavender, melaleuca, frankincense, oregano, peppermint. And when you buy in this kit, the Home Essentials kit, you're going to save $86 than if you had bought them all separately and the diffuser separately. And it's $275 for that. If you don't, if this isn't in your budget, then the next option would be the Family Essentials kit, in which you get all those same 10 oils, but in 5 milliliter size, which are the 80 drops per bottle size. And I used this image because it shows you it comes in this box. My stepmom got the Family Essentials kit, and I was actually at her house, and this box is so cool. It not only tells you what each of the oils are, but it tells you how to use them and like some ideas for use of them on the cover of that box. So that's super cool. The Family Essentials kit is $150, and I think you save around $30 than if you had bought all the oils separately. So you get all those same 10 oils, but in a smaller size, and there's no diffuser. So if you want the diffuser, go with Home Essentials, or if you just want to start out a little smaller, it's $150 for the Family Essentials. And then I had to show you the Every Oil kit because I want you to find the kit and the oils that best suit your budget. But so far, 2 people this month have bought the Every Oils kit because they've wanted them all. So it comes with all of the emotional aromatherapy, every single oil I mentioned. It also comes with a coconut oil for your diluting, and it comes with this awesome carrying case so you can carry them with you, which is kind of amazing. Plus you're going to get the welcome packet from me. Plus if you get the Every Oil kit, I will send you a copy of the book I use to figure out what oils go for what, and that's Modern Essentials. It's like a classic in aromatherapy. It tells you, you can look up any issue you're having, like everything from diabetes to a headache to a bug bite, and it will suggest oils and tell you specifically how to use them and how to blend them. It comes with recipes. It's a great book. I'll ship you the book plus the welcome packet if you get the Every Oil kit, which is $1,825, and you save $311. So the other way, hold on, I want to stop sharing. So like, well, no, I need to share for this part. So the other way that you're going to save on oils, because not very few of us can afford to buy every single oil we want all at once. So the way that you can build your oil collection over time, which frankly is exactly what I'm doing and what most of the people I work with are doing, is the Loyalty Rewards program. And it is like a frequent flyer program, or like the grocery store loyalty program where you swipe your little keychain thing each time you check out at the grocery store, where you earn points back on everything you buy. So what's amazing about this is the longer that you do Loyalty Rewards, the more percentage you earn back. So in the beginning, you're getting 10% back. And then it goes 3 months later, it goes up to 15%, then 20%. And once you've been doing it for a year, you get 30% back. That means that, you know, your very first Loyalty Rewards order, if you spend $100, you'll get $10 back in product points. And those are almost equal to dollars. It's a little different in other, if you're in the UK or in Australia, but in America, it's almost exactly equivalent to $1. So if you spend $100, you're going to get $10 back to spend whenever you want on whatever you want from doTERRA. And after a year, when you spend $100, you'll get $30 back. That's insane. And that's on top of the 25% that you're saving by having a wellness or a wholesale account, which they call a wellness advocate account. So you get the wholesale pricing of 25% off, plus with every order, you're earning points back to use in future months. And what you'll do is after you get your kit or your first couple oils together, when we talk and do that wellness consult, we can talk about setting up your loyalty rewards program and building your oils over time to best suit your needs. This is the best way to do it because you're going to get a percentage back on everything. So let's exit that and go over here and stop sharing. So those are the ways to get the oils the most affordably that you can get them. A package, if you're thinking of getting more than 2 or 3 oils, a package like one of those kits, or a package like one of those kits, and then the LRP to slowly build your oil collection over time. So if you are ready to get started with oils, or you're ready to get the oils you've been thinking about, you can go to tarasweiger.com/start oils, or if you're watching this on my website, just scroll past the chat box and there's a link. You click that link, and I shouldn't have stopped sharing yet. You don't need to see my face. You need to see the link for this part. Share. Oh, can you see the right thing now? Yes, okay. So go to tarasweiger.com/start oils. And this is what'll happen. So what you're going to get after you go through the checkout is those oils, the 25% off all future oils, the free health consult, the Facebook group, the 50-page how to use your oils coloring book, the 6-part e-course. And this is what it's going to look like. So when you go to that link, you're going to come to this page. You might come to a page with a green join button. Click that green join button. Then you'll get this page. It should autofill in your language and your country. You just hit next. You come to this page where you're going to pick Wellness Advocate. This is going to give you the most benefit and the most points back if you make this choice, and it doesn't cost any more. There's no difference. Then there's going to be Then there's going to be a form you're going to fill out with your name and your address. I wanted you to be aware that this is in the middle of the page. This should be auto-filled in with my information. If it is, don't change anything. Go down and create a password. If it's not, then you want to put these numbers in, and then create a password, then click continue. And then this is the page where you're going to choose your kit. If you want to get a kit like we talked about, you'd click add to cart. If you want to just get the wellness or the wholesale pricing and individual oils, you're going to pick this one. It says introductory packet. It's $35. You'll click add to cart. It's just going to give you some brochures and then a page of stickers, so you can add stickers to your bottle caps. And if you choose this, then what you'll do is you'll go down here and enter additional numbers. You'll just type in what you want. So you'd start typing in lavender, you'd start typing in peppermint, or you'd start typing in frankincense. A drop down will happen. You'll click on the drop down and you'll see it added to your cart. And then down here, there's a continue button. You just keep going through the process and check out. So let me click stop sharing. So that is how you get oils. And as a reminder, you're going to get the discount, you're going to get the e-course, you're going to get a welcome packet if you choose to go with one of those kits. And in the welcome packet, I am sending either a Breathe rollerball, because some of those kits don't come with Breathe, or the Wild Orange. So if you get a kit that already comes with Breathe, I'll send you the Wild Orange. So now I'd like to answer any questions that you have. And by the way, everything that I just walked through is actually a video walkthrough below. So if you are coming back later and you're wanting to remember what you're supposed to do, there's a video of just walking you through checking out. Below here, there's also written out instructions. Basically, you click the link and then you follow the instructions they give you there, and you'll be all set. So if you have any questions, now would be the time to ask them. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, let me give you the link. This is where all the instructions are. That right there. So are there any questions about using oils, about building habits using oils, about getting your oils or saving on them, or anything? I'm here to answer your questions. Just post them in the chat room. Hopefully you can still see me and everything is still good. All right, I'm going to take a big drink of my water because I've been talking for a while. Okay, so if there aren't any more questions, let me close this out. And you are feeling good about what oils you are going to use, if you are watching this later, the chat box won't be below this video, but you can send me an email or go to the about and contact and fill out the contact form and send me your questions if you have any questions about it. Just so you know, this deal with the welcome pack and the Breathe Rollerball is only good for the next 24 hours. So that will no longer be, you won't be eligible for that after the 24 hours, but you will get the coloring book, the Facebook group, the e-course, all of that. So ask me your questions. Let me know if you have any specific issues you want to get help with. So earlier, someone asked about their son he doesn't produce hormones naturally and he takes synthetic hormones. Do I think oils would work for that? I think you should talk to your doctor about that. What the oils do is stimulate and balance your body systems. They don't create anything new. So like lemon stimulates your liver for a whole host of liver issues. And they actually now have studies that show that when you have lemon essential oil, it sparks the liver to create the enzymes that the liver should be creating already. So if you've got a lazy liver like my husband does, his doctor actually recommended lemon juice or lemon oil as a stimulant for his liver. The same is true with the oils that help with hormonal issues, is they help balance your hormones. So whether you are estrogen dominant or estrogen deficient, the oils can help bring that system into balance, but they can't fully replace it. I mean, you can work with your doctor though. The same thing with mental health. The oils can spark, they actually have been shown to increase serotonin, but that doesn't mean that you'd immediately go off your medicine. You would use the oils and then see about improvement in mood and your health and then talk to your doctor about it. So with anything you're wondering about it, that's the answer, is use the oils recommended. And some really great resources that I mentioned already. The Modern Essentials book. There's also a great Modern Essentials app. The book has way more detail, but it's much bigger and harder to carry around in your pocket. Whereas the app is great. So whenever anybody asks me a question, I pull it up in the app because the app is backed up by research and a long, long experience of aromatherapists dealing with this. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in. Otherwise, go to tarasviger.com/startoils to get started with your welcome pack and the e-course and the Facebook group and to get started on your oils. I hope you have a fantastic day and keep me posted on your oily adventure.